Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that, well, it touches pretty much all of us at some point, but it rarely gets looked at through the lens of hard science. We are unpacking the biology of loneliness. We're going to look at exactly what happens to our brains and our bodies when we feel disconnected from the pack. So get comfortable, because the science here is absolutely going to change how you understand human connection.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Just to put things into perspective, a massive 23% of British people report that they often feel lonely. Think about that for a second. That is nearly 1 in 4 people. And the data shows this number has only grown since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. So this tells us right out of the gate that loneliness isn't just some passing mood or personal failing. It's a widespread societal issue and a really critical public health challenge that's affecting people across all demographics.
Now, before we get deeper into the biology, we kind of need to clarify what we're actually measuring here. There is a totally critical difference between social isolation and loneliness. Social isolation, that's an objective measure. It's an actual physical lack of a social network. You can literally count the number of connections a person has. But loneliness? That is a subjective, deeply personal feeling. It's tied entirely to an individual's perception. This means you could be living completely alone in a rural area and feel perfectly content, or you could be surrounded by thousands of people in a bustling city and feel profoundly lonely. Understanding this distinction is absolutely crucial because interventions have to target the perception of loneliness, not just the physical isolation itself.
Section 1. Our evolutionary need.
To really get this, we can look at John Caciapo's evolutionary theory of loneliness. Basically, you can think of loneliness just like physical hunger. We all inherently know that hunger is your body's alarm bell, right? It's telling you to eat. Well, from an evolutionary standpoint, loneliness functions the exact same way. It's a biological signal alerting you that you need social bonds. Think about it. Historically, for early humans, being part of a group meant safety from predators, shared resources, and just a way higher chance of survival. Being alone? That usually meant you were going to be somebody's lunch. So loneliness is literally an adaptive survival mechanism that is hardwired into you, prompting you to reconnect with the group.
Section 2. Your brain on isolation.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what happens when that evolutionary drive is thwarted. Because isolation actually reshapes the physical architecture of your brain. There are 3 key regions that take a really heavy hit here. First up is the prefrontal cortex. That's the area responsible for complex decision-making and emotional regulation. Neuroimaging studies show that isolation actually leads to reduced volume and connectivity there. It literally shrinks. Second is the amygdala, which is our threat detection center. Social isolation puts this region into absolute overdrive, heightening your stress and anxiety. It disrupts the brain's default network, creating this awful self-reinforcing loop where lonely people start to perceive normal social interactions as more threatening. And finally, the hippocampus, which is vital for memory. Prolonged isolation correlates with reduced volume here too, potentially leading to cognitive decline down the road. Simply put, when you're disconnected, your brain just defaults to a chronic state of threat detection.
Now, what's really wild is that these brain changes don't just stay in your head. Chronic loneliness triggers a cascade of biological responses that mirror chronic stress. It elevates your blood pressure and increases levels of pro-inflammatory cytokines. Basically, your body is in a constant simmering state of inflammation. This creates a vicious cycle that puts people at a significantly higher risk for cardiovascular disease, stroke, and even type 2 diabetes. Throw in poor sleep and heightened stress hormones like cortisol, and it just keeps adding fuel to the fire, severely worsening both your physical and mental health outcomes. The research on this is so stark. Just listen to this. Loneliness doesn't just affect how we feel. It reshapes our entire physiology, making us more vulnerable to a range of serious conditions. Let the gravity of that sink in for a second. Disconnection isn't just a sad emotion. It's a physiological state that fundamentally alters your entire body.
Section 3. Lessons from Antarctica.
So I want to pose this intriguing question to you. What actually happens to the brain in Antarctica? Like, how does the most remote, extreme, unchanging environment on planet Earth impact the human mind?
Well, the answers come from this jaw-dropping study called Newmyer 3. Participants were sent on a 14-month expedition to a polar station. We are talking temperatures dropping below -50 degrees Celsius, relentless winds, and just extreme environmental monotony. The unchanging landscape and total lack of social stimuli had a profound effect on these people. Brain scans revealed measurable brain shrinkage, specifically a significant reduction in the volume of the prefrontal cortex, just like we talked about earlier. The scientists also found lower levels of a crucial protein called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF for short, which is absolutely essential for your neural health and plasticity. And honestly, the most shocking part? These brain alterations persisted even after the participants returned to normal society.
Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm never going to go live in a polar station, so I'm good. But here's the thing. The COVID-19 pandemic effectively acted as a global Antarctica for so many of us. According to a Cigna report in various UK surveys, those sudden lockdowns drastically limited our social networks and introduced tremendous environmental monotony into our daily lives. I mean, we all remember it. This spiked loneliness and anxiety on a massive scale. And just like those polar explorers, we're seeing long-term effects. There's early evidence showing that prolonged disconnection has led to lasting changes in social behavior. A lot of people are reporting this lingering hesitation to socialize, and they're really struggling to re-engage even now that restrictions are completely gone.
Section 4. The path to connection.
Okay, so it sounds pretty bleak, but the crucial point is that we can repair these neural and social pathways. Our brains are incredibly plastic. Evidence-based interventions show us exactly how to do this. It often starts with cognitive behavioral therapy, or a CBT, to help individuals reframe those negative thoughts and perceived threats we were talking about. From there, actively participating in trust-based games and synchrony exercises can actually rebuild bonds, cooperation, and empathy. Scientists are even exploring some really fascinating pharmacological treatments, things like pregnenolone and psilocybin, to try and reduce the biological markers of loneliness. But arguably the most accessible, straightforward intervention is just community engagement, fostering a sense of belonging through group activities, local initiatives, or, honestly, even just a friendly conversation can significantly alleviate feelings of isolation and boost your emotional resilience.
All of this incredible research really points to one undeniable truth. Connection is quite literally a matter of survival. It protects our brains, our hearts, and our overall well-being. So I want to leave you with this final, thought-provoking question to apply to your own life. How strong are your own community bonds? And what step will you take to reconnect today? Maybe send a message to an old friend, join a local club, or just strike up a conversation with a neighbor. Your brain and your body will absolutely thank you for it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope you found it as fascinating as I did. Keep learning, keep connecting, and I'll see you next time.